So, I don't know if you can streamline it.
Okay.
I want to thank you all for coming today. My name is Joseph Maier. I'm a U.S. Army Green Beret, or Army Special Forces. It's actually going to be my topic of discussion today. U.S. Army Special Forces is an elite military unit and a key player in the defense of the United States. To kind of give you an idea of what Special Forces is, I'm going to go into the origins of Special Forces. Special Forces is the Army's premier proponent of unconventional warfare. It traces its historical roots from the Army's formations of World War II and the Office of Strategic Service, also known as the OSS. They were sent in World War II to gather strategic intelligence and conduct operations behind enemy lines in support of resistance groups in Europe and the Far East. From there, I'll move into how Special Forces became known as the Green Beret. We actually get that from President John F. Kennedy. The Green Beret was originally designed in 1953 by an SF Major, Herbert Brucker, who's a veteran of the OSS. Later that year, First Lieutenant Roger Pizzell adopted as the unofficial headgear for his A-team, or operational detachment. They wore it for extended training missions whenever they were out in the field. Soon it spread throughout all of SF because it became a popular, piece of headgear. Although the Army refused to authorize it for an official use, SF guys kind of rebelled and wore it anyways. Finally, in 1961, President John F. Kennedy caught wind of this. He sent word to the Special Forces Warfare Center commander, Brigadier General Yarborough, at Fort Bragg, North Carolina, which is the home of Special Forces, to have all of his all the SF under his command to wear the Green Beret. President Kennedy felt that since they had a special mission, SF should have something to set them apart from the rest of the military. So from that day forth, he authorized the Green Beret Green Beret for SF to wear. From there, I'm going to go into the operations of Special Forces. So currently, Special Forces is operating all around the world. During the 2014 fiscal year, this previous fiscal year, it was reported that, or this current fiscal year, it was reported that Special Operations Forces deployed to 133 different countries, which is roughly 70% of all the countries worldwide. In these different countries, we conduct operations such as counterterrorism, counter-narcotics training. We go there for joint training exercises to train paramilitary forces. We go there for our unconventional warfare aspect. We go there, teach foreign internal defense, counterinsurgency, and then as well as guerrilla fighting for countries that are oppressed. From there, I'm going to go into what it takes to become a U.S. Army Green Beret. What it takes to become a U.S. Army Green Beret is completion of the Q course, which is the training curriculum for Special Forces. The Q course consists of a phase which is approximately 2 years long. It has selection, language, small unit tactics, SEER, which stands for survival, evasion, resistance, and escape. Your MOS portion, which is your job on the team, and then the final event, which is a culmination event, also known as Rock and Sage. I'll go through each portion to kind of give you a better understanding of what we go through to become an SF. Selection is 19 days, as it was a documentary by National Geographic known as 2 Weeks in Hell. And essentially it is that. It's 2 weeks in hell that the cadre of Special Forces puts all soldiers that come in and apply to become a Green Beret, they put them through physical hell and mental hell to try to make them quit. And the only people that survive through that is people that obviously do not quit. And those people eventually get selected to begin the Q course or the training curriculum. From there, they move into language school. Language school consists of 6 months of a language that you're placed into by an aptitude test. You have 4-tier languages. Like for instance, mine was Korean. It's a tier 4 language. In language, you're stuck in a classroom, cultural immersion classroom for 6 months to be immersed in the culture, understand the culture, and to ultimately speak the language. From there, you move into your small unit tactics phase. Here is where SF makes its money. Special Forces operate in a small team, like a 12-man operational detachment. So for small unit tactics, we learn everything from tactics in a jungle environment, desert environment, mountainous environment, swamp environment, pretty much any environment you can imagine. Urban environment, we go in there and we have different tactics that we learn in each of these environments. From there, you move into SEER school, which it's a pretty notorious school military-wide, and most people outside of the military even know about it. It is your torture school. You're sent to a mock prison camp where you learn all these techniques too, like SEER, the name itself says. SEER's S is survive. So you learn to survive off the land. You learn traps. You learn natural made traps. You learn what plants to eat, like how to test the plants that you think might be edible. What plants not to eat. How to kill an animal. How to skin an animal. How to clean an animal. How to tan the hide so that you have clothes. From there, you move into escape. Escape is where you learn how to pick locks, pick handcuffs, break out of any kind of restraint that you have on you. You learn to jumpstart cars. You learn.
Not quite.
And then resist. Resist. The R in SEER is resist. And the resist portion is where that mock prison camp comes into play, because you're taught how to resist the torture they give you. And for certain non-disclosure agreement reasons, I'm not able to disclose everything. But essentially, they torture you, smack you around a little bit, and teach you how to not say anything, to withhold information so that it saves your partner's life. And then the final is is escape, and that's just learning how to evade. And that's learning how to evade your captors once you escape from the area. So that's, if you have dogs tracking you, you learn how to cover your scent, cover your tracks. You learn how to track so you're able to better cover your tracks. Upon completion of that, you move into your MOS, which is your military occupation specialty, which I'll be going over those in the next slide, but that's your job portion. And the final event, which is Robin Sage, is a culmination event where you go on this mock mission that lasts 3 weeks long, where you're inserted into a foreign country that behind enemy lines, and you're helping the local indigenous people to overthrow their government. And once you have completed the overthrowing of the government, that is when your mission is complete and you're graduated from the Q course and you officially become a U.S. Green Beret. From there, I'll move on to the different responsibilities on Operation Detachment Alpha, or Special Forces ODA. So the military occupation specialty, each team is supposed to have 12 members, consisting of 2 of each of these MOSs. So you have your 18 Alpha, which is your team leader, and that's just like it's sounds. He is the team leader. He's the person that coordinates with hire. He's a person that leads everybody on mission and is in charge of communication between headquarters. The Bravo is your weapons expert. He's trained on all foreign and domestic weapons, and then from there he is your security expert. He makes sure that you have your base defense anytime you're somewhere in a hostile environment. Moving on to your Charlie. Your Charlie is your engineer / demolitions expert. This is the guy that he goes somewhere and he's in charge of like any kind of construction operation to build anything up. And at the same time, he's in charge of blowing things up. Moving on to your Delta, which is your medic, and that's self-explanatory. He's the medic on the team. Anybody gets hurt, he's there to take care of us. Your Echo, his most important job is communications. His most important job is to make sure the team has Wi-Fi while we're in Afghanistan. But all joking aside, he's there to make sure that our communication equipment, our radios, we're able to actually talk amongst one another while we're out on a mission, or if we're not out on a mission, we're able to talk to higher headquarters when we're in a remote location. Moving on to the Foxtrot. The Foxtrot is your intelligence sergeant. He's the one that compiles all your signal intelligence, which is like photos, spy plane, like anything that we get signal-wise to us. He compiles that and cross-checks it with this human intelligence he gets, like from locals coming in and reporting, like, hey, this bad guy's here, this IED or bomb is here, and he cross-checked it, and that's kind of what drives our missions on, like, hey, we're going to go out and do this because these things match up. And then the final person on the team is the team daddy, which is the A-Team Zulu, and he is the operations sergeant. And he is pretty much in charge of keeping us in line, making sure that each MOS or each person is doing their job. And that's pretty much the responsibilities of SF guys on an ODA team. So like despite the extensive curriculum required to become a Green Beret, the training never really ends. And we as Special Forces soldiers are mandated to continually improve on our skills and add to our responsibilities. So any soldier can really apply to become a Green Beret, but only a few ever make the cut. Thank you for coming today.
So I like that ending though.
Yeah.
I like the way you did that.